This is how to draw part 2 using Autodesk Inventor 2013. To start, we'll start a new file up at the top left. We'll start with a standard IPT or Inventor part file. I'll double click on standard.ipt. And with my Inventor acting a little funny, I have to come up, click the restore down button, and then the maximize, and it should be fine. Okay, to start this drawing, we're going to start with the front view. It's going to be on this plane here, if you can see the mouse moving. So to do that, click Create 2D Sketch, and the front view is on this plane here, which corresponds to this plane here, right? So I'm going to click on this XY plane, and now we're set with our grid and our sketching tools to create our geometry for the shape. There are many ways that you can create a part in Inventor. I'm going to show you one way. You could do this another way. What I'd like to start with is just a rectangle. You can see that this is 4 inches wide here, 2 inches tall. But actually, there's a circle here with the center at 3 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with a rectangle that's 4 inches by 3 inches, and then we're going to add these circles on, and you'll see what I mean in a second. So up at the top, we'll go to the rectangle tool, click it. I'm going to click once at the origin, move my mouse, and click again. We use the dimension tool. We're going to dimension the vertical line to be 2 inches, and then we'll dimension the horizontal line to be 3 inches. So I'll change this vertical line to be 2 inches. We'll auto zoom. This horizontal line to be 3 inches. And auto zoom again. So we have the start. We have a rectangle. Now we've got to add on these 2 circles. The first circle is going to start, it goes really right between those 2 edges, right between the top edge and the bottom edge. So it has to start at the very middle and then go out to the edges to be even like that. And then there's a second circle in there that's 1 inch in diameter. This little symbol means diameter. So how will we draw those? I'm going to zoom out a little and use the pan tool to bring that drawing over to the left a bit. I'll click on my circle tool, and if I slowly move the mouse on this line, it'll get to a point that we just passed, and if I come back up again, you'll see it again. Right there, where that circle becomes green, it's going to snap. That's the midpoint of the line, the very middle. So I'm going to click once at the midpoint. I'm going to bring my circle out, and it's going to snap again at the very edge. So you see how it turns green again. I'll click where it snaps to the edge, and now if I right click and say OK, I'll just get this dimension out of the way here so you can see it a little better. Notice that the circle started at the midpoint, goes to the edge, so it should be very even with the edge here, right? And the same thing will be true on the bottom. So that's exactly how we need that. We started once again. I'll show you one more time. The circle. We started at the very middle. Make sure you click right at the middle. Don't move the mouse when you click, because it can mess it up. And then snap it right on the edge when it turns green again. Be careful not to move the mouse when you click. Okay, so if that's set, we don't want all this stuff in the middle here. So I'm going to right click, hit OK to get out of that circle tool. I'm going to click on this vertical line because in the plan, notice it's not there. They have this leader line to show that the 3 inches goes in the middle of the circle, but that vertical line is not there. So we're going to click on this line and just click delete on the keyboard. You can get rid of it. Well, that's not true. Back it up, back it up, back it up. Okay, first thing, we only want this part of the circle. We don't want the part that goes inside, only the part that goes outside. So up at the top, find the trim button. I'm going to click it. When you hover over part of the geometry, it's going to kind of make it little dashed lines here. See how on the inside it's sort of dashed, on the outside it's not. If I click, that part of the circle will disappear. I can right click, hit OK to get out of that tool. And now this vertical line we don't want either. It's not on the plan. That leader line for the 3 inches to show that the middle of the circle is at 3 inches, that's there, but the full vertical line that's part of the geometry is not. So I'm just going to click that line with my mouse once, hit delete on my keyboard and get rid of it. Next step, we can make this circle in the middle, this 1 inch diameter circle here that's on the midpoint. So I'm going to go back to my circle tool. I'm going to click once right at the midpoint. Going to click again somewhere. It doesn't really matter how big it is because I'll click the dimension tool. Click on the circle once on the edge. Move my mouse around. Click again to drop the dimension. And then change that to 1. So far this geometry is pretty well set. We can go ahead and extrude it. And we need to extrude this shape to be 2 inches. So we'll do that by finishing the sketch. I'll just recenter that by clicking the home view. And we're going to extrude it 2 inches. Notice that it doesn't know what to extrude. It didn't automatically pick because it could be this shape, it could be that shape. It's not sure. So we're going to click on this larger shape. And then it'll show you the preview. Should look something like that. If it does, hit OK. And I'll just recenter it again with the home view. So far, this is what our shape looks like. You might notice it looks a bit different from this because this shape has this cutaway here. So to do that, we need to make a little cutaway that gives you 1/2 of an inch of material here on this side, 1/2 of an inch of material here on this side, and it's 1 3/4 inches away from that back edge of the part. To do this, we'll create a new sketch on top of the object. We'll create a rectangle by clicking once, moving the mouse, clicking again. Then we'll use the dimension tool. With the dimension tool, if you click on a line and move the mouse, it tells you how long that line is. But before you click to place the dimension down, if you click another line that's parallel and then move it around, you'll see that now it tells you how far apart those lines are. So I'm going to place my dimension out here actually and change that to 0.5. And I'll do the same thing at the bottom, where I'll click on one line, click on another line, and then bring the dimension out and place it change it to 0.5. Last parallel line to dimension here is this vertical line to this vertical line. So again, we'll click the one line, click the second line, bring the dimension out, drop it, and that had to be 1.75 according to the plan. So with that set, we've got our 0.5, our 0.5, and our 1.75. With that set, we can finish the sketch. And now we have to cut this material away. We have to get rid of it. We haven't done that yet. We've added material. We've made it 3D, but we haven't cut. We're still going to use the same tool. So we still will use Extrude. So we'll click that tool. It still doesn't know exactly what you want to extrude. So we're going to tell it we want to extrude this rectangle shape. And notice that it automatically wants to put material in. It wants to sort of create this big 3D rectangle. We actually don't want to do that. We want to cut it away. So we're going to choose this middle button here that says Cut Material. And when I click that, the box that's given in the preview turns red and it goes into the part. And that's showing you that it's going to cut that away. I like what it looks like. I'm going to hit OK. And there's the finished part. Of course, you can go and you can change the material if you'd like. You don't have to. Once you're set, you can create a screenshot of this using the snipping tool and then submit that on Edmodo. That's how to create part 2 using Inventor 2013.